Back to haymaking, or stacking, mowing. Uh, uh, what's to say? I think I said most of it already. Uh, I got another load. Trying to think here what more there is to say. I'm just filling out these 2 layers, and then after this weekend I'll maybe get another layer or so. What I did was I forked the loose out of the way, and you can see it's there. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. That over the past my lifetime, when I was a boy, we made hay like this, but before that, it was made loose way back. I mean, forked loose onto wagons, and then in round bales, nicknamed Tootsie Roll bales. That's what my father-in-law was baling when I got here. Actually, it was ironic. I taught him and his son and children how to rank square bales because they had not yet worked with them. What you did was you clutched every time and stopped the tractor and dropped a round bale, which was about the same size. They were always a little bit bigger on one end than the other. And when you ranked them, you kept that in mind. You put the bigger end outward. And then he converted over to square bales. But then time went on and kickers came in. So instead of riding behind the baler in a flat wagon, which was an art to receive those bales and keep them on that wagon, they only had a back. They didn't have sides. Some of you might remember that. And you didn't stack them on edge, you stacked them flat. And to keep them on there, especially when you pulled out of the field, it was, you had to make awkward turns and bumps and stuff. And to keep them on that wagon was a real challenge. I was good at it. Didn't always succeed, but I often didn't have bales that were comfortable to work with. Then it went to big round bales, not the Tootsie Roll bales, but big round bales, which they would then also probably stop the tractor and drop in the field. But they were like 10 times, 20 times bigger than the Tootsie Roll bales. And from there, haymaking went to not only doing it with big tractors, but also and round, but wrapping them. So you'd wrap a whole bale. Now, that made it possible when they would inject into the hay salt water or salt and various chemicals. They could keep it from spoiling even if it wasn't dry. And so then you got hay wrapped, and from which you get plastic hay wrap. From there, sometimes you'd see huge square bales, but that was more for out west. See, a round bale you could leave right out in the field, and the rain would just roll off it. It wouldn't go through it. But a square bale, not so. And so now they make hay way earlier when it isn't really dry, but it can be chemically treated to not spoil and wrapped, and so they can take it off earlier. Now, at least in this area, it seems to be going back to square bales. And now that's partly because the Mennonites are here, who would really much prefer to do things the old ways, but are forced because of the economy to adapt. I don't think I've said enough about the kickers. These bales have been kicked, but back when I was a boy, there weren't kickers put on the balers. You rode a flat wagon, and somebody who also ranked them on the flat wagon pulled them off a chute. They didn't go flying through the air. Now, once kickers were made, of course, that took more power, fossil fuels, on the part of the tractors. It made more noise, and it made the whole experience so much less pleasant. And you had to put high sides on the wagons and high sides on the back to catch the bales when they got kicked through the air to land there. It was unpleasant. But anyway, that's kind of the way it mostly is, although now and then you'll see somebody who has a baler that is not either does not have a kicker on it or has the kicker disconnected, and somebody riding a flat wagon pleasantly and pulling the bales off and ranking them.